It's quick, efficient, very efficient.
Efficiency is my middle name. Sometimes.
Weird choice of middle names.
Jason Efficiency Bates.
Yeah. J-E-B. J-E-B.
That's my dad's actual initials.
Should be yours too. Were you messing with me by saying that was your middle name?
No. Yes, I was messing with you.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right, we're live. Facebook is live.
All right. And then I'll go over here. Today, we're talking about tax deductions, renting versus buying cheaper.
Yes, new survey out by Freddie Mac. We'll cover that. So how was your weekend, man? I know part of it, anyway.
Yeah. You do? Oh, yeah, because we hung out.
Yeah.
How do you know about my stuff? Just kidding. We did that open house. It was good. It was good. I got a lot of stuff going on this week. I got some investors in town ready to get their house on the market. Trying to prepare for an open house for them.
Nice.
And then, yeah, just got the pictures. Got to go do another listing thing. So tough being me. Not enough hours in the day.
Time is a finite resource, a famous person once said. Yeah, you're right, Jason. It is.
I'm in the middle of my, you know how I don't talk until I get my description down here.
I know, dude. I'm teasing.
Sorry, I had no coffee yet either. And tax deductions made the news last week. This and so much more discussed in today's Newsmaker episode. The knowledge. Then we are doing our pre-show right now, everybody. So those that are just tuning in, this is the part of the show where we're just getting ready for everybody to get in here. Today we're doing Monday's Newsmakers, everything that you need to know about real estate news that hit the news last week. We like to get in there and talk about it, how it impacts you. Right, Jason Bates?
Yes. Well said.
Thanks. Efficient? Would you call that efficient?
That was very efficient.
Thanks. Real estate show. Okay.
Had a little withdrawals yesterday, man.
Yeah. Football.
Yeah. Cardinals weren't on. A little withdrawals.
No, I got more work done. I was more efficient yesterday. I was out and about.
Not that that's much of a game anyway.
Tomorrow,
for certain.
Yeah, we have a tough. We have a tough one coming.
Yeah.
Even though it's the 0-8 49ers versus Drew Stanton. I mean, if you think about it, the people, our key players that are starting this week are not the ones that started the season, right?
Right.
Even though we do have somebody named Adrian Peterson on our team.
He helps. Well, hopefully he helps. I mean, not always. Last game he didn't really help too much.
Nobody could help last game. Those uh, Rams are for real, right?
Yeah, they are. Went to the Carefree Pumpkin Carving Festival this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Very cool. Very, very cool, man. I did not know that you could carve a pumpkin in such a way.
we watched this show on Food Network where they have a pumpkin carver. They have someone that messes with sugar, and then someone that makes cakes, and they all design sceneries together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one had like scenes and different kind of things, and then they have like these pumpkins that they're carved, but it's not like your traditional carving with like triangles and that kind of thing. It's like
Right.
very artistic, man. Like crazy good carving.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Is that show is you wouldn't realize that those are pumpkins or cakes, and
Yeah.
they come up with like scary stuff, man. I believe I am done sharing. One more. I'm gonna run and get a coffee since I have just a little bit of time.
You can't
And everybody
off
that's watching.
camera. You got to get that before
Well, no.
you get on.
Who's watching me? Good thing
three
Rosanna just showed up. I won't have to run to get the coffee. She's on it. She just walked through the door. She's just waiting. That was easy.
All right. That sounds like
Are
the
you looking
Grinch's
on-
laugh.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I don't hang out with him anymore.
Anymore.
That was. Yeah.
Okay. Almost there. 2 more minutes. Sharon is what we're doing right now. Share. Got a couple of people show up and then left.
Well, we got a few people watching. That's good. Ready? Hold on. We are almost done with our pre-show show. We got 1892. Let's see how we end up today. Let me find you. Is this it? This is true. Then we already had 100 views. That's crazy. No, that's from yesterday. That's Friday.
They all want to see that you're drinking coffee, Stefan.
See, I tell you, I'm a lot better with coffee. I don't see it on the show here. Let me go over here, see if it pops up.
All right, we'll get things started here in about a minute and a half. Today, we're going to bring everybody up to speed on some of the real estate, mortgage news that's out there. Give our 2 takes, 2 cents, 2 takes, 4 cents, 3 cents.
3 cents, 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits, $1. Remember that cheer? Know that cheer?
No, no.
Okay.
Not familiar.
Okay.
Not familiar.
All right. Got ourselves some coffee. Thank you. Victor. Saying something went wrong. I tried to watch the video, so I'm not sure if that's an issue for everybody. But I had to do it twice.
It's going good on my end.
Well, that's all that matters, as long as you're liking it.
All right, we're ready to go. Drink your coffee, man. Wake up.
Okay.
There we go.
I'm ready.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of 22 Minutes with Jason and Stefan. I am Jason Bates, and I'm going to bring you the lender side of things. And he is Stefan Cotton. He's going to bring us the realtor side of things.
Where's the camera? Right? Is the camera over there? I don't even know.
Look ahead, man. Look ahead.
Oh, hey. Okay.
Yeah. Together, we hope to not only entertain you, but also bring you some valuable information that you can actually use when you're looking to buy, sell, refinance, or invest in property. And if you're looking to do any of those things, we certainly would love to be your team of choice. So please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Let's get rid of Stefan's name there. Hey, if you want to participate in the show, you can certainly certainly do so by writing a comment right on this post. And it should show up right here. I'll get that all queued up and get that going for us. But it should show up right here on the live show. So all we ask is that you keep it clean and keep it relevant to what we're doing. So there you go. Right?
Yes.
That's what we like to do. All right, find the post here. There you go. All right, so it should be ready to go. All right, hey, this is Monday. We cover the top newsmakers on Mondays, every Monday, and we do this Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. So be sure to mark your calendars, or just an easier way to head over to our page and like the page for us. We certainly would appreciate that support, and that way you'll get notified when we go live. So that'd be pretty cool. We always do a tweet quote of the day. So before we get to the news, which we've got some news here that I want to kind of get your opinion on too, Stefan, because there's some breaking news, I guess, if you will. I don't know if it's breaking, but some stuff that just recently happened here over the weekend. So let's get to today's tweet quote of the day.
Okay.
Maybe. Here we go. There it is. There are no such things as limits to growth because there are no limits to the human capacity for intelligence, imagination, and wonder. Mr. Ronald Reagan.
Do you do a Ronald Reagan impression?
Well, Nancy.
Right. There is no such things as limits to growth. I can't.
Yeah. Well, there are no such things as limits to growth. Why? Because intelligence.
The people that are watching, I don't know what our demographics are, but probably not a lot of them know who Ronald Reagan sounded like.
Scared him off. Yeah, who's Ronald Reagan? R&R. Who's that? Yeah. Hey, let's get to the newsmakers because I want to get your opinion on some of these newsmakers.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. All right, the top one here. This is this is kind of the late breaking one. So we'll start off with this one here.
Okay.
And let me just kind of highlight it here for us. You know, there's a tax bill coming, right? It's kind of going through the Republican tax bill. There's a lot of talk politically of whether or not it needs to get passed or not, and whether or not some senators or whatever, congressmen are going to be in Congress or Senate in the next vote if they don't get something passed, according to the president. But the home builders, this tax plan is kind of getting a lot of controversy here. The Home Builders Association recently came out this weekend and kind of are not backing this Republican tax bill. They're not backing it. And we talked about it a little bit, I don't know, when this tax bill first got kind of introduced a few weeks ago.
What does the tax bill say? Yeah, what's the key?
Well, the plan here's the kind of crux of why the National Home Builders Association, and this is a big lobbying group in Washington, as is the National Association of Realtors. The plan nearly doubles the standard deduction, ends personal tax exemptions, and may repeal the deduction for state and local taxes. The combination would remove much of the incentive for the mortgage interest deduction outside the highest cost areas and could potentially hurt home prices. Now, this whole thing of, are we crying wolf here a little bit on hurting home prices?
Right.
Here's why I say this, and everybody's got their own agenda. I totally get it. I'm not sure why the Home Builders Association is not in favor of a tax cut, but when we talk about hurting prices, we're at the lowest level, of home ownership in the United States in a long, long time.
Yeah.
You know, how do we create more homeowners is kind of the question, right?
Someone last week told me that, there's more homeowners now than ever before. And I was like, I don't think that's right.
No, they're wrong.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
So the where I'm going with this is the quickest way in my mind to get people to be homeowners is to free up more cash. Give them the choice that they can afford more in payment than what they're paying in rent. People get comfortable in what they're doing, right? You pay $1,000 a month in rent or $1,500 a month in rent. You kind of budget your life around that. Well, if you could free up more money, there's two ways to do that. Either you cut personal taxes, right? Or you increase wages. You know, that's the two ways to kind of put more money in people's pocket. When people have more money in their pocket, they're probably going to spend more, and the renters then become homeowners. And as you reach a certain level of income, you want more tax deductions. Now, they're saying the mortgage tax deduction would be I don't know, what's the right word for that? De-incentive or unincentive?
Yeah, decentivize,
Yeah, decentivize the opportunity for people to become homeowners.
Yeah.
So
do you think it's that stuff that piggybacks it, the stuff that's in the state and the state tax stuff that's getting removed?
Yeah. I think there's, you're never gonna have one that's perfect for everybody. I get it. However, something's better than nothing right now, and it can always be changed. That's the thing. We always think that these laws, they're set in stone. I tell a lot of my friends, look, these laws that put in place, it's not something that can't be undone real quick in our system. That's the beautiful thing about the United States. We can change things if it's not working fairly quickly. It goes on to say here the home
Obamacare.
Yeah, Obamacare. Well, that's not so easy. I guess we haven't had too much success in that, right? The home builders have great partners in developing a new home credit that helps more Americans with both their home mortgage and property taxes. By expanding this tax relief to homeowners who don't itemize, Mr. Brady, who is one of the developers here of this plan, I hope members of Congress will examine it closely to determine if they want it included before tax reform heads to the president's desk. This is their tax reform, so they're kind of condemning the current one, but offering a solution of their own here.
And that's how it works. I mean, they always.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want something passed, you have to kind of work with what was before it and make it better, or something.
Right.
So that's what they're doing.
Yeah, it's kind of going back and forth here a little bit. The thing I don't like is this scare tactics of it's going to hurt home values, this and that and the other. There's still a lot of demand out there, so I don't know how much it's going to hurt home value, even if it were to get passed in its current state, which you and I both agree probably not going to happen. So I don't like that. Don't like it, man. Don't like those scare tactics, but that's how a political game goes, I suppose.
If they didn't do it, then we wouldn't have anything to talk about the first 3 minutes of the show.
What do you think? Do you think tax reform is good for housing, bad for housing? What do you think?
I always think there's always something. I mean, here's what happens is it starts a conversation, and maybe somebody that didn't know or think about buying a house is now thinking, well, what does this mean? If we can get 2 or 3 more people off the fence to buy homes, then it's worth it. But more importantly, the conversation itself is what drives people into buying a home. Like I didn't even know there was a tax incentive.
Right. Oh yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Absolutely. National Association of Mortgage Brokers, they're kind of weighing in on the situation here too. It says here, should we keep the mortgage interest deduction or should we scrap it for more generic tax breaks? Simplifying the tax code, I guess, a little bit. Other trade groups come down one way or the other. MBA and NAHB will consider alternatives to the interest tax deduction, claiming the people who could use it the most don't itemize. NAR, National Association of Realtors, is adamant that the mortgage interest deduction is an invaluable and will fight any attempts to weaken it. Now that these groups have stated the logic for their positions, NAMB is reviewing those arguments to see what it should support. So National Association of Mortgage Brokers, NAB, Yeah, MB.
MB
Sorry.
and
Yeah.
NAM.
Has
NAM.
not weighed in yet. Has not weighed in. So my lobbying
Well,
group, I guess.
right. So I think, I mean, it used to be back when Ronald Reagan was president. Speaking of Reagan, throw him back in there. But when Reagan was president, your your car loans, your interest was deductible. Your credit card interest was deductible. The only saving grace now is the homeownership deduction. So how are they going to try to save it? I don't think it's. I mean, they're trying to get rid of it by helping other stuff. I'd have to see what the solution is, but it's our last deduction. So,
Well, yeah, quite frankly, I don't understand why it's even on the table. To be honest with you, it's worked for a long, long time. There are other things that can be cut, big time, than home ownership tax deduction. I mean, interest rates are so low anyway. Tax deduction is almost. It's not like we're dealing with 11% interest rates, and having that tax deduction.
Yeah, back then it was like stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we're dealing with low interest rates, so it's not that big of a deal. So I don't even know why it's on the table, quite honestly. Kind of a little bit frustrating. We're even wasting our breath on that, but hey,
Yeah.
that's why I don't get paid the big bucks. All right, next one here. This
Finally,
one,
somebody said it. Right. Just kidding.
this one here. This is hey, change is inevitable in our business, right? There's always change in our business. Well, they're asking the question now: do mortgage companies still need processors?
Oh,
Yeah, this is coming up now. Mortgage processors. So,
well,
go ahead.
let's talk about what a processor does before you.
Okay. So, typical scenario, the loan officer, like myself, I would take an application, go over different loan programs, that sort of thing. Once you commit to a loan, particular loan, if you're refinancing or if you have a contract on a purchase or whatever, and you commit to a certain type of loan, whether that be FHA, conventional, adjustable rate, whatever the case may be, you send some paperwork into the loan officer. You'll send that in during that time as well to get qualified for that particular product. Once you've committed to moving forward, then the loan officer will hand that off to a processor who will prepare the documents for underwriting. So the processor is there as kind of an organizer, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it. They kind of organize the documents in such a way that the underwriter can go through it in a logical way and not have to scramble back and forth, which can create mistakes when underwriting. So a processor is kind of the organizer, if you will, of the whole transaction. So
now we're saying,
hey, Rick. Happy Monday to you too, buddy. Thanks for tuning in, bud. Yeah, so a processor is kind of I don't want to say quarterback of the whole situation, but they are certainly an organizer of the paperwork.
Okay.
So as Fannie Mae pushes forward with this day one certainty, and I don't know if you've heard of day one certainty, but day one certainty is automation to verifying income.
That you'll get a loan. Yep.
Yeah, assets, bank statements, that sort of thing. Much of what a processor normally does will be done by Fannie Mae. So here begs the question, if Fannie Mae with day one certainty is doing some of the stuff, do mortgage companies need processors? There will be no need for pay stubs, bank statements, W-2s, and tax returns as service providers feed them into the system. Perhaps the biggest breakthrough will be the single source validation. Instead of having a company that does tax return verification and another that does bank verification, one company will integrate with the other providers to do it all. So right now with tax returns as an example, we submit that information over to the IRS who then validate that tax return stuff. Then we have to do a verification maybe of deposits. We have to do that with a bank or whoever you currently, credit union, whatever. And then we have to go through the employer to verify employment through HR. That's 3 different things that we have to go through to organize this thing together. Day one certainty is putting them all under one roof kind of deal. So there you go. So with that being said, do we need a processor? My question is, if we don't have a processor, does that make the loans cheaper?
Should.
Right? In theory? Should.
Yep.
Should. Or does that just mean I get paid more?
Should. How about a little bit of both?
Yeah, right. Who knows?
Consumers save $200-$300 and you get to pocket the rest. I don't even know. I don't even know what a processor gets paid for. Yeah, right. I'm so rich.
Yeah, that's perfect Halloween. scenario. All right, we'll see. To be continued on processors. Fear not, processors who are maybe watching this show. Your job is not in jeopardy yet, but all of our jobs are eventually, I suppose.
Always. Remember, I mean, 2 months ago we talked about the realtor robot.
Yeah.
I'll come to the house, check out the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Well, surprise, surprise, surprise. Adjustable rate mortgages are actually outperforming fixed rate mortgages. I think this is a little bit of a hocus pocus, because I got to be honest with you, I haven't done an adjustable rate mortgage, originated one, in probably 5 years.
Yeah.
So
by outperforming, you mean there are more adjustable rates right now than there are fixed, or just that they're performing better? Because an adjustable rate is lower, right, than a fixed rate.
It's the delinquency rates amongst adjustable rates versus fixed rates.
Sure.
Yeah. As of June of 2017.
So proportional wise, I mean, listen, 5% go one way. The adjustable rates, if I were to get, so this is a great question I need to ask you anyway. If I wanted to buy a house that I'm going to live in for about 4 or 5 years, adjustable rate versus fixed rate, what's my best scenario?
Which is better? It depends. Your credit score and all that, but let's assume you have perfect credit, all that kind of stuff. Adjustable rate mortgages just aren't priced where it's that advantageous for you to take an adjustable rate over a fixed rate right now. In other words, the spread between an adjustable rate and a fixed rate, adjustable rate, may be slightly cheaper than a fixed rate mortgage right now, where traditionally adjustable rates are vastly improved from a fixed rate mortgage.
So in today's market,
in this market, that's why I haven't done one. I mean, the adjustable rates just aren't priced aggressive enough to compensate. Now, as rates go up, I'm sure that adjustable rates will become more and more popular. But we'll see. Just interesting. The article does say that most of the adjustable rates were originated between 2003 and 2009. So these are probably individuals who have been in their home a long time. I've got a friend of mine actually who wanted to get out of his adjustable rate mortgage. It's pretty competitive with what today's rates are. And he's right at that borderline of being upside down. He's right at that, that level. So he can't really get out of it. So, all right. We've harped on this quite a lot actually, and still I'm not seeing why you're renting when you can buy. I'm not seeing those ads. I'm not hearing it. People just aren't talking about it. I don't know why. The battle rages on as to whether it's cheaper to rent than to buy. Freddie Mac multifamily conducted a survey where 76% of renters say they believe it's cheaper to rent than it is to buy. That's what they believe. 76%. That's a big number.
Yeah.
3/4 of renters believe that renting is cheaper than buying.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Renter. Do you think your homeowner is making any money on your rents?
You're asking me?
Your landlord.
Oh.
Well, I'm asking the renters out there.
Yeah.
Mr. Renter, do you think your landlord is making any money, or do you think he's losing money by putting you in there?
Yeah.
Meaning, is it cheaper for him?
Right.
Than it is
He's the owner. Right.
Yeah. Do you think he's charging you more than what he's paying?
Right.
Then vice versa. Then how much would it cost you to live in that same house if you bought it? That's the two-step process there. I know it's Monday, so and you're not a renter, but those are the questions you need to ask yourself if you're a renter, right?
Yeah, I mean, owning. If the tax deduction goes away, I mean, this is part of the argument of the headline story, right? That if that tax deduction goes away, why buy? What's the difference, right? And if rents are equal to what it would cost you monthly to buy, well, then why buy? Just rent. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's going to go away. I think there's.
What about the equity you build? I mean, I remember, I'll tell the story about once every, it seems like for 6 months, I had a guy that was willing to pay $800 a month rent. I found him a house he could buy for about $650 a month. Same like-to-like, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single level with a pool. It was $650 a month. 2 years later, he sold it for a little over $53,000 profit.
Right.
And he thought renting was cheaper until I showed him that it wasn't.
Right. Yeah, no, the equity, there was a campaign this past summer, right, from Ben Carson. The fastest way to build wealth is to own property.
Yep.
Now, I
Right.
guess, maybe some people are arguing, though, Stefan, that if the tax deduction goes away and the demand goes away, then is it the fastest way to build wealth?
Until it isn't, it still is. You know what I mean? Until
You're right.
I mean, until those things change and it isn't the fastest way, then it's always going to be the fastest way.
Right. Right. No, I agree.
That's what I say to that.
I absolutely agree. So you should become a buyer. Buy.
Yeah.
Buy. All right. That's really all that I have for headline story. I do have one here: CFPB regulations by enforcement, a hot topic at the NBA. This is something that you and I have harped on forever, ever since CFPB's been put into play here.
Canadian football peanut butter.
Right. David Motley, an incoming NBA chairman, Mortgage Brokers Association, is not fond of how the CFPB determines what is legal or illegal. Speaking at the NBA conference, Motley essentially called regulation by enforcement a practice where no one is certain what is right or wrong. That is bad regulation, according to him. Another area Motley thinks needs attention is the lack of housing supply and listings. Right, we talk about that all the time. He believes lenders have a role to play in getting builders to increase construction. So basically, his argument is, hey, if the CFPB, if you don't know what's right or wrong, and you're going to get fined, then that's what's holding a lot of these lenders back from extending credit to builders to build more, which would help with housing supply. So,
Well,
couldn't agree more.
I don't think. You think the CFPB? So this is our first year doing the show. I mean, we've been talking about doing this show for a little over a year now. You think this time next year the CFPB will still be around, or if so, do you think it'll be as relevant as it is now, or do you think it's kind of getting deconstructed?
That's a good question. I don't. It's hard to say.
It's a deep question.
It is a deep question. I mean, I would say I don't think they're going to be around.
Yeah.
There's too much negative talk about them and not positive talk about them.
Right.
So I would say the chances of them going away, or them being regulated to such a degree that they become useless, is higher than not. Because remember, they're not regulated right now. They could just impose any kind of fine, impose any kind of whatever onto a mortgage company. Hence why mortgage companies are saying, well, okay, I'll just be super conservative here, and therefore you can't touch me. And the American people are the ones that suffer as a result. Now, I agree on the flip side that you can't be too aggressive either, because that also hurts everyone.
Well, let's remind people, the CFPB is there because things were shady. You know what I mean? There was some shady stuff. Not all lenders were shady, but this is really putting the shady ones to, finding them, really, and the ones that were conservative already are getting more conservative. And that's why we talk about how we aren't in a bubble, because CFPB won't allow it because the only people that can qualify for a loan are the people that can pay for the loan.
Right.
Over and over.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up today's episode of 22 Minutes. We thank you for joining us. Thank you, Rick, for your participation in the show. Really appreciate that. Thank you. We do this Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. Be sure to like our page. We'd appreciate that support. And certainly if you're looking to buy, sell, refinance, or invest in property, we would love to be your team of choice. So please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. So until tomorrow, Trending Tuesday, everyone have a great Monday, a kickoff to the week. Happy Halloween. That'll be tomorrow, right? I don't know if we're going to do anything special for that or not. I guess we'll see. But everybody have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Sounds good.